Welcome to another episode of Throwdowns, our weekly or near weekly segment where the Technodrome decides what is best, what is worst, who is right, and who is right or wrong, I guess, whatever. All right, so thank you everybody for joining again. Today, I'm kind of excited for this one. We're going to be discussing our favorite funniest, because there's just such a wide variety of directions you could go with this one man, are the funniest Tom Hanks films. He is such a diverse actor. He's done so many serious roles, but he is just, I don't know, I think he's one of the funniest ones in Hollywood. Some of the movies he's made cracks me up. I don't know about you guys. What are your initial thoughts before we get into it? Cast.
I mean, just one of the best actors of our generation, whether it's comedy or drama. And most of his roles, I mean, other than Philadelphia that I could think of, there's always one interspersed with the other. Like whenever there's a drama, there's still some comedy. Philadelphia is not funny at all, but he's amazing in that. So I mean, go with his best comedies, you got great movies. You go with his best dramas, great movies.
How about you, Scales?
Yeah, same sentiments. Just a legend. Growing up in the 90s, so many classics in that decade alone. Obviously, he touched the 80s and then into the 2000s, but just...
he's touched us all.
Yeah, well, that's pretty
Oh, boy.
Like a blast.
Black popsicles?
Oh, boy.
Anyway, all right. So I thought, let's put some time on the clock here and let's dive into what you guys, have as your picks for best, favorite, funniest Tom Hanks films. So let me get my gong ready here and let me put 5 minutes on the clock. All right. Cast, I'm going to throw this over to you because I think I know what direction you're going to go, but maybe you're going to prove me wrong here. I don't know. What do you got for your answer?
Just like the great Roddy Piper says, just when you think you got the answers, I change the questions. Not really. I'm going with Turner and Hooch for a little bit of a surprise.
Wow. Okay.
There were quite a few choices I could have made here because I love a lot of Tom Hanks movies. It's not the one I've revisited the most. It's not the one I've quoted the most, but it's a great movie. You got Reginald Vell Johnson in there too as his partner. It's just funny, and the Hooch, the dog, was great. The ending is very sad, but ends on a little bit of an up note. That last little bit. But this was Tom Hanks during his the peak of his comedy when he was just about to start going into dramatic roles, and this is like a little bit of a there's a little bit of drama in this, and he's playing a cop, the investigation, but it's really not easy to act with an animal, as a lot of actors will say. A lot of actors hate working with animals. It throws off their timing and they can be unreliable, but the chemistry between him and Hooch and him and his human co-stars is just so good. I mean, it just shows how good of an actor he is and how he's just naturally funny and likable, even when he's being, a stick in the mud in the beginning. So I'm going with Turner and Hooch because why the hell not?
That's a very good answer, and was not expecting you to go that route.
I know where you thought I was going to go.
I know exactly
about
where
after.
That I thought where you were going to think what I thought. Scales, what do you got? What's your answer?
Sure. I don't know if this movie is considered a drama / comedy, dramedy, I guess.
Rom-com.
I'm going with Tom Hanks as Jimmy Dugan in A League of Their Own.
That was another possibility.
Excellent answer.
That's a comedy for sure. It's not a drama.
Okay.
Mr. Dugan! Come here, baby.
So good. I mean,
slow.
So many classic lines. Obviously, the all-time movie classic. There's no crying in baseball. I mean, come on, that's a legendary line. We all loved his interactions with Stillwell, that little shit. We used to love watching those clips in college.
This is giving me good ideas. There's some soundboard stuff I can add.
Oh, there you go.
This is a good one. Thank you.
When he finally throws the glove and whacks him and knocks him down, and it's and then there's what I read today online. I didn't know the scene where he's peeing and it's like peeing for like what seems like minutes on end in the locker room.
With Madonna timing it.
Yeah. The director, I'm blanking out. Penny
Marshall.
Penny Marshall. Pennywise, that'd be different. Penny Marshall was in the other stall with a hose, and he didn't know when she was going to stop.
Geez.
So he just kept acting until she
That's
stopped.
Great.
It's just a great,
Awesome.
great scene there. Yeah.
I like that.
Much different movie if Pennywise is in the urinal.
Yeah. What a twist.
That's M. Night.
I would love to see Tom Hanks's reaction to that because he's got some good blow ups.
He would have took him down like he did still will. He would have took him down with a mitt.
Excellent answer. That was a good one. I'm gonna go with this one is kind of like what you were just saying there, Cass, at the end. A blow up. There's I feel like a lot of his funny movies, there's always like one of those blow up scenes where he yells and he screams and you can't understand a word he's saying. Like, they definitely, I don't know if they had one in Turner and Hooch. I don't remember. I haven't seen that one in a while, but definitely, League of Their Own. And there was definitely one in this one that I'm about to mention, which I'm not sure if you guys are too familiar with, but it's called The Money Pit. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
I've seen half of it.
Shelley Long plays his wife.
It yet. Mm-hmm.
One of the bad guys from Die Hard is actually like her ex-husband or something like that. But general gist of it is he's they basically find this house that they think is way too good to be true. They're kind of conned into buying it, but it's like a fixer-upper extreme, and they're just kind of going through so many bad things are happening, things are falling apart, and his reactions to these things as they're happening are just phenomenal. There's one scene where there's a hole in the floor that he doesn't realize there's a rug over, and he falls through and he gets stuck there for hours, like at least 12 hours before his wife comes home, and just the sounds that are coming out of him, it's just phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's a good one if you guys haven't seen it and you like a good Tom Hanks outburst. It's funny, it's good, and it's highly recommended.
Yeah.
All right, that's basically putting us at 5 minutes. This puts us in plenty of time here to discuss maybe some honorable mentions, have some other discussions. I feel like we have one movie here that we definitely need to talk to. So let me put a couple more minutes on the clock here. You guys, any of you want to go with any honorable mentions here?
I just want to say about A League of Their Own. That's a good one. I consider picking that. I often use the line, anything worth doing is worth doing right. And most people don't know where it came from, but it's when he's talking to Ira, the guy who runs the league. He's like, I especially like that move in the fifth inning where you scratch your balls for an hour. And he's like, oh, anything worth doing is worth doing right. But yeah, great movie. That's one I quote all the time. Not just that line, just multiple quotes from that movie. So
jumps off the bus and he yells at him. By
the way, I loved you in The Wizard of Oz. You gorgeous stack of pancakes, you. But I think the honorable mention that Duff keeps alluding to that he thought I was going to pick was The Burbs, because I love The Burbs.
It's a phenomenal one.
Yeah. But part of what makes The Burbs so good isn't just Tom Hanks. It's Rick Dukeman, R.I.P., who played Art, the neighbor, and he's hysterical. But The Burbs does have my favorite Tom Hanks blow up by far. When Art comes into the backyard to tell him that they rang the doorbell for the people next door, the Naps, the people who lived there before, the Klopeks. Yeah, and they put a note under the door and rang the bell and ran. And he comes, Art comes and tells Tom Hanks, and he's got the beer cans. He's like, "Oh, you?" It's like, "Doc!" Smashes the cans, throws them on the floor, starts screaming. He's like, yeah, well, they saw me the other night. They're gonna expect me. He's screaming like he can't understand them, and he keeps crushing the cans and throwing them on the floor. Then he goes to run inside, and his wife walks out and nails him with the screen door, and he crashes more cans. She's like, "Oh, you feel better now?" He's like, "Yeah, great one."
Any other closing comments there, Scales?
I just thought of one other League of Their Own scene that I wanted to mention is when he comes out and the crowd is cheering for him, and he's like mumbling under his breath, "Kiss my ass, kiss my hairy ass."
Yeah, I don't know. Those are excellent choices by everyone today. Just those. It's just such classic outbursts, and I think that there's always like one in any of these kind of movies where he just has that random outburst, and those are just like they make those movies. But
absolutely.
Nice job today. We can definitely revisit this one. We can go more into more of his dramas. We can go more into some more funny movies of his. There was a lot of options here that we could have gone with. So we can continue this another day.
You notice he's just naturally likable.
Yes.
He comes across and he's one of the only guys in Hollywood that you ever hear only good things about from other people in Hollywood. So
He has good interaction with fans. Like he'll randomly come across them and like, you know, you'll see like Instagram photos or stuff online of like him just like hanging out with people that he just meets. He's like really down to earth.
The one special situation we have to shine some light on is when some kid asked if he could like fake a photobomb for him. Do you remember seeing that one online? It was a long time ago. So the kid asked him to pretend like the kid was passed out drunk, as if Tom Hanks came over to him and like had his arm around him and was like smiling, laughing.
I did see that one.
And Tom Hanks was just game for it. It's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So they set it up, and it was like urban myth for a while that Tom Hanks actually just picked the kid's camera up and photobombed that he was
That's
passed
awesome.
out drunk. Yeah. Tom Hanks,
oh, looks like that's the buzzer. That's all the time we got for today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I did. That was fun, guys. Let's do this again sometime. You know, our not nearly weekly segment. So yeah, guys, I want, you know, all of our fans, everybody listening, you know, drop us a comment here. Tell us what your funniest Tom Hanks movie is. You know, what you guys enjoyed about this episode, what we could do better, what we could do worse. You know, just let us know. Follow us on all forms of our social media, TikTok, Instagram. Listen to our sexy voices on Spotify and Apple podcasts. And yeah, tune in to see what kind of crazy concoctions will come up next to talk about. But until then, I will leave us with I
was always cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
and I will sign off with all of you fellas. So until next time, bye.